Hi, I'm Vinton Bain.
I'm Missy Hancock.
And I'm Shawn Hancock.
Welcome to the Hancock Creative Podcast Introduction Episode.
Bum, bum, bum.
So I wanted to help you guys create a podcast. I decided that I would learn how to produce, even though I know nothing about it. I haven't even read a blog post on it, never had any education. I hardly know what I'm doing, but having fun figuring it out. Big thanks to Randy from Odd Man Out podcast. Yay! Look them up. He's helped me a lot, given me some good information, as well as Alistair from the Storywalk podcast, another great podcast to look up.
Yeah.
So I decided I wanted to help you guys do a podcast, and I'm learning all of this, and I may or may not jump in every once in a while and talk with you. Thus far, you've done great on your own, but I may jump in at some point.
Well, we're not experts at this at all either. This is our first time as well, so we're all in this boat together.
Yeah, definitely.
But we wanted to do a podcast because we are creative people who have spent our entire lives pursuing creativity and trying to live our best creative life, and we have needed encouragement along the way, and so we suspect that some of you might need encouragement, and we would like to be the ones to help encourage you as you embark on a creative journey.
So just to give you a little bit of background of who we are a married couple, not brother and sister.
It's true.
And we do have 6 children together and only. I don't know why I said together.
Yes, what do
together.
You have going on there, baby?
I have secrets. No, I don't.
Kind of 7, though.
Yes,
7,
because we have, including Vinton here, who is our son-in-law. So that tells you how old we are, mid-40s. We have our oldest is 23. He's Gabriel Knight Hancock. He's a singer-songwriter. And then Tessa Raven Bain is married to Vinton, and she is an incredible visual artist. And
she does have some incredible visuals. Is that weird?
Yeah, maybe a little.
It might be inappropriate for conversation here.
No. And then we have a daughter, Kira Rain, who is an amazing actress, and a daughter, Lizzie Sky, who is 14 and a budding young animator, and a twin 12-year-olds who are Journey, who is comic book enthusiast, and she's been working on her comic books, and Jaslyn Flame, who is just a maker of all sorts. She has her own little line of stuffed animals, and she's always making something.
She's becoming quite the seamstress.
So we tell you this pretty much to brag. So, that's all. To say, our kids are great.
They're amazing.
Now, one of our goals is to raise creative kids, and from the beginning, our life is a little bit of an experiment, and we decided to homeschool our kids with an influence or a focus on creativity. And so we've noticed that in the school system, creativity is crushed. Often. Not always, but often. And we wanted to give them an alternative education that did not crush creativity, because we personally value it very much, and we wanted to instill that in them. And so far, it seems to be working. They're all pretty intelligent and creative, and living life like the rest of us. So they're functioning human beings.
But we come from just being multifaceted artists. I mean, is that how you'd put it? That's the nice way to put it.
I think years ago, my dad told me the old adage, "Jack of all trades is a master of none." And I've kind of forgotten the context that he was telling me, but I think he was trying to tell me to pick something. And,
damn it.
And, pick something, damn it, and it not be art.
It didn't work.
Yeah, no, my parents were as encouraging as they knew how to be.
Yes.
You live in a world that doesn't really encourage creativity. There's not much that you get. And we're just now, I think, becoming a society that's embracing creativity. And maybe that hadn't always been the case. Maybe the last time was during the Renaissance. I don't know. But we're just now coming into what I call the creative age. And we're starting to see lots of creative opportunities, creative employment open up. And it's a really exciting time. But personally, I have dabbled in a multitude of arts. I am an illustrator, graphic designer. I do some sculpting. I've sculpted with styrofoam, large projects with styrofoam, some small clay projects. I've done set design. I've done theater makeup. I studied mime for 5 or so years. I do a bit of writing. So I do a gamut of things, and of course, not any of them that well, but
he's lying.
But well
he's
enough.
Very good.
Well enough. What are some of the things that you've done, Missy?
A lot of the things that you've done, because I've been right there beside you helping.
That is true.
So,
yeah. She was
I'm not much of an illustrator.
She was a set designer and a baby. I mean, nursing her children at the same time.
I've done, stage makeup too with you, and I did not do mime. But my main passion probably is writing, and lately we own a little shop in Guthrie. Not lately we own it. We've about 2.5 years we opened a shop in Guthrie, Oklahoma called Hancock Creative Shop, and we also sell online. And I just make stuff. I'm a maker. I like to paint and really love doing hand lettering, and I like to write books.
And you used to do some acting, and
I did. I used to be.
Improv
Yes,
together.
we did. We taught drama and improv, and I was going to run away. Mind you, I'm about the same age as Tina Fey and Amy Poehler, and they went off and they did it, and they became famous, funny ladies, and I'm a little pissed at them because I didn't do it, but that's okay because I didn't do it, and they did. And I also stayed home, stayed in Oklahoma, had 6 kids, but we have had some pretty amazing adventures with these 6 children and this crazy husband. We lived on a bus for 2 years? We took a Oklahoma Highway Patrol Mobile Command Center and converted it into our home. We were going to build a straw bale house. That all flopped, but that's okay because, live and learn. Life is an adventure.
We were not the right type of people for that adventure, but we tried.
Yes.
And that
and we
says
stayed
something.
Married. And that says something.
But, we value our life experiences, and so that was a fun experience, and we learned from it.
Yeah.
And the more of these things that we do, the more that we realize who we are and what we're not, And we started a church at one point together.
We did.
Called the Bohemian Church here in the Oklahoma City area.
And we did that for 7 years?
Yeah.
And
7
we
years.
Still are best of buddies with, most of the people who went to church with us.
So
that's pretty cool.
That's how we met Vinton, just through the Bohemian Church.
Yeah.
He came and stuck to us.
You couldn't get rid of me.
Stuck like glue. No,
I'm
he was a
sticking
blessing.
with you.
He was a blessing. He was there when no one else was.
Yes.
Which happened many times. And then out of the Bohemian Church, just trying to reach the, and to tell you a little bit about the Bohemian Church, was that it was a church specifically geared to reach artistic and creative people. And out of the Bohemian Church and what we did there and the relationships we built there, we started a monthly magazine called The Art Beat.
Well, Eric Templeton, actually, it was his. He came to church he came to Bohemian Church, and it was his brainchild. And he said, "Do you think you guys could do an arts publication?"
Yeah.
And so, you know what we said? Oh, hell yeah, we can do that.
We can do that.
And we did.
We can do shit out of that.
And it was awesome. So we have just have a plethora of random creative.
We did that at the
endeavors.
worst of times during the recession, the low of the recession, and Eric poured lots of money into that effort, and we could not sell any advertising because it was such a terrible time for businesses. They didn't want to spend any money on advertising, and especially an arts magazine. So that lasted about a year, and it was great for as long as it lasted, and it was really well received in the arts community.
And I like to think that the budding and thriving arts community here that is developing in Oklahoma City now is partly because we did that, because we said, darn it, make art. It's a good thing.
People do remember that. I do have conversations with people where that comes up, and I was like,
really?
I was the art director and layout designer for that magazine.
Yeah.
They're like, whoa, really? I read this article in there, and they'll just talk about it. I'm like, yeah.
That's good.
Or
to
they'll be
hear.
like, oh, my friend was featured in that. I remember that magazine. That magazine was great.
Awesome. Well,
Yeah.
cool. See, there we go. We thought so. Anyway.
So now we are living in Guthrie, Oklahoma, in historic downtown, and we...
In a really cool old Victorian building that we love.
Yes, and if you haven't made it to Guthrie yet, you should, because it is... I have heard that it is one of the only intact Victorian cities in...
The United States.
Is it the whole United States? Surely not, is it?
Well, it's one of. I mean, it's
Well, I
not
guess
the.
well, no, that's true, but I mean...
But one
I
of
guess
the best and most
intact,
maintained. Yeah.
Which is kind of funny because there's always this debate in Guthrie about restoring things and fixing things, and maybe because it is on people's minds all the time that it does go through these revivals.
Yeah.
But anyways, it's a great town to explore and learn the history of. It really is, in my opinion, I don't know if this is technically correct, but in my opinion, it is the birthplace of Oklahoma.
Yes,
because that was where the first land run happened.
And it was intended to be the state capital. I mean, that's why it's got this great little infrastructure. The downtown is this awesome, Victorian buildings, and it's so cool. And was 10,000 people there the day the town was founded.
Yeah,
and guess
day.
What? There's 10,000 people there now, too.
There's still 10,000 people there.
So, whatever. But anyway, we're talking too much about that.
Yeah, so the point being is that we have a cool little shop there that features artwork from all of our family, including Tessa and Vinton. And so if you are in the area, please stop by. We'd love to chat with you.
So at the beginning of this, it probably opened up with a melody. Is that right, Vinton?
It will, yes.
It will, yes. Okay. So that is one of our son Gabriel's songs, and he wrote that song on the night of Shawn's birthday. He had a really discouraging phone call that was just like we were regrouping in between one of our, it was after living on the bus, and we were regrouping and figuring out where we're going to go now, what's our next adventure. And Shawn had just had a particularly discouraging birthday. And so Gabriel and Tessa wrote Shawn that song, and it's just a beautiful song, and its intention was to tell Shawn that they believed in him and all these creative choices he has made, and the way he has led our family. And so it seemed like the perfect song. Besides, it's just a really nice melody. It was the perfect song, even like content wise, to support this endeavor. And what this endeavor is not about us, although that's all we've talked about, and we're sorry. We will not do that on the other ones. But what we are wanting to do is do a podcast that is geared to encouraging you in your creativity and in your creative journey. And, we all need it. And so we're hoping for those of you who are looking for something like that you'll stick around and listen to us and just be encouraged, be inspired.
We don't really see ourselves as any sort of expert in this field, but we recognize that there's not too many people as experts in this field, and we have a lot of life experience, and so that's what we're trying to share with you is our thoughts and ideas, and we've been beat to death, felt like it anyway, a few times, and we've recovered, and we have successfully, in my opinion, lived a creative life. It is possible, and we're encouraging you, if that's something that you want to do, we're encouraging you to do it, because it is a life of blessing in
yes.
many ways, and it can be a life of financial blessing if you want it to be, if that's something you want to pursue. So the negative talk that you hear from people that, artists can't make a living and blah, 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 all that, it's not true. And it's certainly not true today. There's so much opportunities out there for artists. If you want to live a creative life, you certainly can live a creative life and live a successful creative life. Our focus has been on our family, and love is very important to us. And so our success is mainly in our family life, and we're very pleased with our kids and our families and friends. And now we are focusing on some financial success in our lives, and that's the next goal for us.
So that's good. I mean, a creative life is a happy life as far as I'm concerned. It's a sane life, and it's a good life. And so we want to encourage you in that same way. Thank you so much for listening today and letting us introduce ourselves to you. We hope so much that you'll come back and listen to some podcasts and be encouraged. If you want to look us up on social media, we're Hancock Creative on Twitter, Hancock Creative Shop on Instagram and Facebook, and on Etsy, just search Hancock Creative Shop. There'll be links, though, in the shop, what's it called?
Show notes.
Show notes. There'll be links in the show notes. All right. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
All right, so we're going to end the podcast here with the full version of We Believe in You by Gabriel Knight Hancock. His music is up online. You should go check it out. Gabriel Knight, that's Knight with a K, .bandcamp.com. Also, just Google search Gabriel Knight Hancock. You'll find YouTube videos, his Facebook, all sorts of things up on there. Please go check him out and support him. Also, if you would, give us a review on iTunes. That would be great. Here's We Believe in You by Gabriel Knight Hancock.
We've been down this road before. We've walked through so many doors. Wherever step we jump, wherever walk we run, we still believe that our God someday will set us free. We believe in you, and every word you say and everything you do. You're not failing anyone. We got faith in you and everything you've done. I can tell by your eyes it has been a long night, but all you want to do is lay down and take your rest. Let your dreams grow. Tell us all the things that only dreamers know. Words cut like a knife. Put them all aside on this holy night. Along with our past, we know these scars, they can never last. Tonight is so bright. I see new stars up in the sky.